Hey, it's Jordan, the 1031 doctor, and today we're going to do something a little different. Today we're going to do a LoopNet tutorial for beginners or intermediate investors that aren't really familiar with it or even are familiar with it but want some pro tips. I've been on LoopNet since its inaugural date in the 1990s, and I've sold, God, hundreds of properties on LoopNet over the years and kind of know my way around it. So let's just dive in. So I basically specialize in retail. And we're going to do the whole United States. Uh, so I specialize in triple net deals, but I look at every kind of deal. I've done land deals, no apartments. I've never sold an apartment building in my entire 40-year career. So, okay, first thing we do is we go to for sale. We don't look at auctions. We do property type, retail, which covers restaurants. I'm not looking at shopping centers, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I do specialty and hospitality occasionally because I look at mobile home parks on occasion for clients. So the price range, I stay at a million minimum, although you can find some interesting deals at about 750. Sometimes you'll get a Taco Bell or a Pizza Hut or something good. And let's go to 5 million, which is the average exchange is $2.5 to $3.5 million. Extra filters, we are going to take out auctions. We're going to exclude pending sales, and we're only looking for triple net. And I leave out keywords and I go to single tenant occupancy. Now, this is where a lot of people make mistakes. Um, I do all dates, and I'll tell you why. Because I'll track properties from a year ago, and they do price reductions and everything, but it doesn't show up if you just do a 30-day. There's a property on for sale for a year, and the landlord may be pretty motivated and wondering why his broker hasn't sold it, and it may be time to contact these people and ask for some new decision making. So I don't do a lot of deals in the South. I've done a bunch in North Carolina. We like North Carolina. But you either do this through the map area and pick out areas you like. And I'll tell you right now, I like Salt Lake City. I like Idaho. I don't like Albuquerque so much. I like Colorado Springs. I like Vegas. I like Flagstaff. We've seen that one. Here's Prescott. We've seen that one. So I like the Western states. I like the Midwest. I like Kansas City and Kansas City and Wichita. You can find some good deals in Wichita actually. But let's start just going through here. Freddy's, we like Freddy's, Chili's, Denton, Ohio, and Chili's, Freddy's. I stay away from coffee deals, Sonic, Commerce City, nope, nope. Slim Chickens, nope. Popeyes, Las Cruces, New Mexico. I can tell right away this is too expensive. Las Cruces is kind of a quiet town. I built a hotel there back in the late 80s, I guess 89. I lost it in foreclosure. It was a Hilton. It was a big deal. I was very young. But I got to know New Mexico pretty well. Salina, Kansas is nice. This is a nice little deal. Salina, we'll keep that in mind. Verizon, no. Seven Brew, no. Taco Cabana, no. Here's a Wendy's, price point too high. Sorry. Freddy's, no. Chipotle, great credit. Not interested there. We've looked at that deal. Quick Trip, Gardner, Kansas. We've looked at that deal. That's actually a pretty good deal. And we'll just keep going here. Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Here's Clock Tower. Oh, that's a condo. Keep going. And let's see. You know what we can do? We can go back to filters and look at a cap rate. So why don't we do a minimum 5.9? Excuse me, 5.9. Let's see that. So that really cuts things down, gets rid of all the really expensive stuff. Freddy's, I'll look at some Freddy's, Texas, six cap. We'll keep looking. Sonic, I like the product, but they always have properties. Their real estate, it's never hard cornered. It's always mid block. We don't like mid block deals unless there's really something special about it. And let's see, Walgreens. I'm not so. When you buy a Walgreens, you basically want to buy it like what you're going to do with it when it becomes vacant. So you want to buy this thing at $100 a foot. I wouldn't be buying this at 6.25 cap, no matter where it is. Independence, Missouri, Twin Peaks. Now, Independence is a nice, it's kind of uh, iffy part of Missouri, of greater Kansas City area. A seven cap, 4 million. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Maybe we should take a look at it. We'll put that on our list. But a seven cap depends where it is actually on Independence. Let's take a quick look. Seven cap. Oh, it's on the 75. There's the Menards. There's a World Market. Well, it's a highway location. Oh, Justin Zahn. I wouldn't do business with this guy. You can sue me for defamation, but I actually have had a couple of very bad experiences with him. So let's not look at that deal. You got to be careful with some of these brokers out there. They may have good deals or good prices or good opportunities, but when you're dealing, you got to be able to trust the broker on the other side of. And I just shy away. When I've had a bad experience with a broker, I remember it forever. And with the Justin Zahn, that's going to be one of those deals. He really stabbed me in the back on one, so let's keep moving on. Show Low, Arizona, too far out there. Now the Take Five oils. I made videos on Take Five oils. I'm not against Take Five oils. I like the industry, and it's just you really got to be careful on how you buy these things. And there really has to be a good story. It's got to have great anchor tenancies and traffic drivers and be on the right side of the street. Just always remember that. Caribou Coffee, no. Tractor Supply, that's in the right place. And this is in Iowa. That's actually, I would take a look at that if I was in a small exchange and just make sure it's not one of the metal buildings. Wendy's in Arlington, Texas. This might be good. I don't really like Wendy's as a product, but it's got decent credit. They are closing a bunch of stores and reorganizing. I'm not sure of their financial strength at this point, but a lot of people like Wendy's. I just don't. I prefer Burger King to all of these guys, including some of the really expensive smash burgers. Okay, so this is a franchise guarantee. It says strong. I don't know what that means. Sir Mount is pleased to present listing in Arlington, Texas. Arlington, Texas is not a bad area. Not a bad area at all. It seems like a new deal. Oh, Glenn Konofsky, he's a good broker. Now, Glenn's been around a long, long, long time. He was with Marcus and Millichap for many years, my old firm. And, they do a lot of business. So a lot of stuff gets by them. And they come up with some really good deals over the years. But he's a big time broker. Um, Subject property, so it is mid-block. 42,000 cars is not bad. And I'd like to see some of the other anchors. They said there's a Walmart nearby. Subject property. You got a turn-in lane right there. Range, this is golf centric. And there's your Aldi's, which would tell you the demographics there. And so I'm not so sure about this deal. Just for myself personally, I would look for something a little better than this. Let's keep looking. Let's keep looking. Go to the next page. Wichita Falls, small town, decent cap rate, Carl's Jr. Yeah, we can take a look at this. Wichita Falls is a small town, but you got a 7.25 cap and a very small price point. And this is 10 years remaining, which is really good. Let's just see if there's any kind of corporate guarantee on this. But this will show you, yeah, 23,000 cars. That's not that bad. You got a hard corner, Atwoods, so it's anchored. But this is, this is a rural town, farm town, I guess, ranching. And here is a RV park. So this is a campground. So you're going to have a lot of truck traffic here, or RV traffic, and you got 60. Here's the 44, and so this is kind of where you got La Quinta over here. So this is travel destination Carl's Jr. So I consider this a highway destination Carl's Jr., which are different than just being in a rural area that it doesn't have much. But Wichita Falls is a good town. I did a deal in Wichita Falls many, many, many years ago. Let's just take a quick look at these demographics. Population 60,000, not bad. Low income. Here's a site plan. Nothing wrong with Carl's Jr. Small price point. Let's see, strong demographics in 5 Mile trade area. On the lease is OK Restaurants LLC, a 22-unit operator. That's middle of the road. That's better than a 3 or 4 unit operator. They'll get picked up by some of the bigger operators and sell, and into one of the ones that have 75, 100. They always look to sell. They build them up and then they sell them. It's got 10 years left. Normal 10% every 5 years. Initial term. That's not bad. Single digit rent to sales ratio. So that could be 9. You'd want this at like 7. We'll contact agent for details on that. But Carl's Jr., it's a great product. I consider it up there with Burger King. 90,000 NOI. That rent is definitely replaceable for a unit like this. $1,200,000 price point is very low indeed. It doesn't say how large the land is, but it looks pretty big. Corner lot. Let's take a quick look at the OM. Oh, we're not going to register. We'll just take a quick look. Oh, it's got an acre of land. Single digit rent to sales. We saw that. Nearby to Walmart Supercenter with 2.5 visits annually. That's pretty good. So it's right where if you're going to be in that town, that's where you're going to want to have this property. So, you know what? I think we would make an offer on this deal. I mean, they're asking, a very aggressive price of 7.25 because it's in such a small town and freeway centric, travel centric. But you're across from an RV park, campground, not a mobile home park. And but it is relettable. I mean, it's a good pad. It's been built. If Carl's ever left, you could probably rent that out again for probably about that rent. I would offer a 7.5 cap. I would grade this property a B minus. That's what I would do. And I will download the offering here. Anyways, that's that one. Let's keep going. This is basically how I investigate these deals. Highland Ranch, Colorado, 1.5. This is interesting. You got Marcus and Millichap. They don't take terrible listings. Let's see what this one looks like. On the border. On the border. 80 unit operator. 60 company owned. Roughly 80 on the border locations. 60 company owned. 20 franchise. They have some in South Korea. High traffic. Highland Ranch, high income, dense residential neighborhood of Denver. 153 and a 1 mile. This isn't bad. On the Border Mexican Grill Cantina is a nationally recognized casual dining brand, Tex-Mex, situated on 2.9-acre parcel. Minimal landlord responsibilities, so that means roof and structure and probably the parking lot. We'd have to get into that. It's probably double net. But a big piece of land, big piece of land. Major player in casual, keep going. 1.5, that's a really low price point. 262, you couldn't build a restaurant for that now, and the land being free basically. Now, I would look at this if I really had a small exchange requirement, and I would offer a 7.5 cap on this deal. I would grade this just on the outset. I would grade this a B. And here we go, it's under contract already, so that's already sold. That's a decent deal. Missed that one. But this one probably was on the market a while, and you just need to follow up and keep looking and keep following up with the guy. But probably only recently sold. It's let's see, Tucson, Walgreens in Tucson. I like Tucson, but Walgreens at 4.6, no. You got to buy Walgreens at $100 a foot, $200 a foot maximum. It doesn't matter what market it's in. And you're looking at how you're going to redevelop the property. That whole industry is going to be affected adversely, I think. Everything's going to be delivered to your home. Let's see, Tyler, Texas is good. Spanish Schoolhouse, Hawaiian Brothers, I already saw that one. Loomis, this Loomis deal is a good deal. Pueblo, Colorado, Comfort Dental. Now, these are interesting. I would look at this. Dentists never go anywhere. They sell their practice, and you just need to know where it is, and how strong the credit is. Comfort Dental, I don't know a lot about. I can do some search on their company. It looks like a pretty obscure location in Pueblo. Pueblo doesn't have the best demographics in the world. Future commercial. So this is a little bit of barnstorming. And you got 16,000 cars per day. There's the 85. This is where you want to be. There's Walmart down here. So you're on the outskirts of where you want to be, but you're not where you definitely want to be. But here's demographics. Yeah, lower income. That's Pueblo. 7 cap. I would offer them an 8 cap. I mean, Colorado is a beautiful place to live. Just keep looking. CVS, zero cash flow deals. Now, be careful of these. These deals, when it says zero cash flow, it means there's CMBS loans and you're basically buying debt. And so if you have an exchange that you need debt to replace, that's when you look at these deals. Otherwise, it just you have to really be careful with those things. There's no cash flow to them. South Star Urgent Care. I like urgent cares, but they have to be in the right location and the right company. They are growing tremendously. Nothing wrong with urgent cares anywhere. And that goes with veterinarians. Some of the big veterinarian operations are good. Here's Joplin, Missouri. And I'll stay out of Joplin, but it's nothing wrong with Joplin. We've already seen Mission, Kansas. Superior Outfitters, Terrell, Texas. No. No, 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 no. Keep going. Maryville, Missouri, Advanced Auto. Advanced, that's a big number for Maryville. I mean, nothing wrong with it, but dealing with a 9 cap almost. Advanced Auto is a major company. I would look into this and see what the story is. CVS, no. I stay away from all the liquor drug stores. Pizza Hut, Guthrie, Oklahoma. Remodel. This might be interesting. This might be interesting. So it's not interesting. There's the 35. This will go all the way to Kansas City. So this is one of these smaller towns going down into Texas. So this is an offshoot here. There's your Love's Travel Center, your Love's gas station. You almost have as much traffic on this street as you do on the I-35 here, which is odd. No, I would stay out of this one. This is one of those deals where that's going to be really hard to relet if and when the tenant goes. Golden Colorado Jack in the Box, we did a video on that one. Here's a 7-Eleven in Mesquite, Texas. Recent 5-year extension. This isn't bad. Let's take a look at this one. Typical 7-Eleven. Mesquite, small price point, decent cap rate. Dallas Fort Worth Metro. Here's Glenn's on this one. So you can trust this deal. 7-Eleven corporate lease. There's nothing wrong with this deal. This is a good one. Here's an OM link. Let's take a look. There's probably not much on this. Yeah, 7-Eleven. That's it. I would look at this deal. This is a nice little 7-Eleven. I would do an aerial view of this thing, see where everything is. Um, but you're dealing with a corporate lease. Let's see if we can see more pictures here. Here's Dallas. You're way out there. You got Balch Springs there. Highland Park, Garland. So you're between Garland and Dallas, a little bit south of that. Nothing wrong with that area. Walkable, 50 out of 100. Drivable, very good. So it's good access there. 24 minutes, 13 miles from Dallas left field. That's good. And 30 miles from that airport. That is pretty good. 7 miles, Hatch Station. You got transportation. Yeah, this one's pretty good. Now you're into the 5-year deals, and it's been extended to 31. So you're into 5-year options. You got only a half acre, so it's a 20,000 foot lot. So you're going to want to have them stay there, which means you might not be able to jump them on rent. I think the rent is probably maxed out on this site. You got, almost $5 a square foot. Well, 2,600 feet, $4 a foot. That's pretty high, no matter where it is, except if it was in LA. So yeah, this is kind of maxed out at 1,600,000 at a 6 cap. You'll get your rent increases, but you're going to be in options, so it's going to be very hard for you to refinance and very hard for you to get a great price when you sell it. And yeah, here's the location right there. You've got public storage, public storage. I don't know what that is. We'd have to do a deeper dive here. You've got a lot of manufacturing here. So this looks like a motel. Here's frontage road, 60,000 cars. And average daily traffic count, 19,000 here. So it's middle of the road on future redevelopment of the property. This isn't like some amazing piece of real estate that's being held up here. So that's basically what you got, a small price point deal at a 6 cap. It'll go to 6.5 with increases, but it's going to stay there. It's not going to really, there's nowhere else to go with this deal. Keep going. Albuquerque, we stay out of it these days. We definitely like car washes. I would look at car washes. You got to be very careful that there's not too many of them built when you're looking at car washes. Too many in the area is a sign that it's a good market, but that it got destroyed with competition. And Slim Chickens. Slim Chickens is actually a great concept, and Lenex is a good area. I would look at that. A little bit high on the price point, but Lenex is a really nice area. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, this is a good piece of real estate. You got a Goodyear tire. Oh, I know this deal. I know this property. So this is going to go up to Kansas City. And I've actually had my tires changed here. There's the AutoZone, and I've used this FedEx. And you keep going this way, and you get to the Shawnee Mission Dog Park. This is a really good area. There's nothing wrong with this area at all. I would dive into this one. 7 cap, not bad. Oh, it's Glenn again. Glenn, you devil, you're really getting out there, aren't you? I mean, this is probably nothing since your old days with Marcus. It was much, much more volume. Long-term triple net lease, drive-through equipped slim chickens, 20-year deal, brand new. Rent a little high for slim chickens, but I'm sure they'll make it. Um, that's not bad. Let's take a look at his OM. I mean, the last one was pretty small. Yeah, this one too. Building looks good. And I think this is the actual building. Yeah, I would look at this deal. Little Nexa, 3,000 foot building with a drive-through. Here we go. And has scheduled increases of 1% annually. That's not good. That's not good at all. That's why it's a 7 cap. Okay, that's why it's a 7 cap. But I would negotiate a 7.5 cap on this deal, and I would consider this location an A minus. Maybe even an A, because the I-35 is right here, and it's going to go right to Kansas City. Yeah, that's a good one. We'll have to call Glenn on that one. Might have a client for that actually. Here's a KFC in Oklahoma. Tulsa's great. And Cintas International in Lubbock. I would look at this. Lubbock is a good town. Cintas, it's a major laundry company that deals with uniforms. And this 2.8 is not bad. I like single tenant industrial deals. You got a big building here, $100 a foot, and it's metal. So I mean, it didn't cost $100 a foot, but it was probably close. And 6.25% return on Cintas's credit. I like that deal. I like that deal. We'd have to look at that. Trinidad, Colorado. Here's a Conoco, low price point. I would look at that. Topeka Hooters, I would stay out of that one. But you got to look at the real estate too, because they may leave. Here's a an Applebee's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's take a look at that. I've sold a lot of Applebee's. I mean, I've sold probably 100 Applebee's over in my career. And one I sold 30 to one client in one large exchange to a very rich man. Okay, so this looks good. You got a hotel right here, and here's a subject property. You got Panda, great real estate department. McDonald's, that's probably the drag. I mean, they'll probably want to relocate to this corner one day. There's your Quick Trip, tells you something there. Amazing real estate department. You got Chipotle, also great real estate department, and your Applebee's. And here's your hotel and 29,000 cars a day. That's pretty good. And it's Glenn again. Way to go, Glenn. Uh, Corporately operated. So this is a corporate location. I would definitely take a good look at this one. This has the normal 10% every 5 years. Big parcel. And if I saw correctly, it is mid-block, which we don't like. Um, Quick Trip facility support. So that's regional Quick Trip. So they got their Quick Trip across the street. That's nice. At least the food will be fresh. Strong retail synergy. Um, this is a good deal. I can tell right away. That rent is low. That is very low. And that is very low. That's that's 1,600,000. This is a really good deal. This is a good deal on a million and 1.3 acres. Let's take a better look at this Quick Trip facility. There's the bank over here. Yeah, McDonald's would definitely want to move to the corner. This Panda deal. We got Chase over here. Yeah, this is a nice little location. Here's a back end look at this. You hear a supermarket here. Here's your Sonic. That's a really good location for the Sonic. They normally don't have that good of real estate. You got your Jack in the Box there. And here's your subject property, Discount Tire, Taco Bell. It's a big hotel. Yeah, this one I would, so here's the I-69. There's the 24, the 75. Let's take a little bigger look out here. So there's Tulsa. There's Oklahoma City. And there you get into Kansas, and here's the 44. Yeah, this is not bad. Glenn, you got another good listing. Anyways, you know what? We're going to take a break here, but this has been my LoopNet tutorial. And please, if you're in an exchange, please reach out to me, Jordan at 1031doctor.com. I've been buying, selling, leasing, building triple net properties across the country since 1986. And we'd love to help you in your exchange. We do a 24-hour full analysis for $299. So we 24-hour turnaround. And we also do brokerage referrals, and we do brokerage for our customers out of California. It's the 1031 Doctor out. Have a great day.